it's been an interesting journey because you and I were talking about the fact that, like what is our connection to our roots, and
Yeah.
that whole journey has been an inherent part of the bigger journey I've been on,
Yeah.
and trying to find, like that sense of belonging somewhere, because I'm not born in a place where, I'm surrounded by extended family and really connected to the land. I've moved around a lot, and, Paris in the 80s was not super cosmopolitan. So it was quite intense. And I went to French Catholic school. I'm not Catholic. It
Mm.
was an interesting flavor, which I think, tainted my experience a lot. And as a result, took me on a journey. And before my spiritual journey, which I think is mostly the case for the vast majority of people, is we have to find ourselves in a place of pretty big suffering for us to transition into the spiritual world.
Yeah.
So my journey has included, I had an eating disorder, which, was not really kind of, known, or people didn't know how to deal with that, when was it, like 20 years ago, at least.
Yeah.
So that was, quite intense to be dealing with that at that time, and also in a culture that, wasn't very supportive, I felt.
Mm.
I became really good at refining the skills that, a lot of healers, whatever shape or form their healing takes. But I became like a really great chameleon in terms of reading people, in terms
Yeah.
of getting into different types of energies and stuff like that. So I always find it fascinating how our healing gift is kind of triggered. I'll
Mm.
get
Yeah.
more into that a bit later, but
Mm.
yeah, it was kind of like a world of suffering that led me onto my path. And
Yeah.
when I moved to Finland, I studied there and worked in advertising. That's my original background, is marketing and advertising, and which was, fun but wild and crazy. And I continued with the marketing and the advertising when I moved to London. And so after having both my kids, I'm fast forwarding many years now. I
Yeah.
have two sons, and I think really becoming a mother was my greatest initiation. I really didn't know what hit me, and I couldn't
No.
have anticipated. And I think it's the case for a lot of people, because
Yeah.
we also live in cultures that are very kind of isolated and very individualistic. So we don't bring children into the world with a village that is holding us. And I think as a mother,
Yeah.
it's really, really tough. So my biggest kind of break, so to speak, especially like that's, I think when my spiritual journey really started was the birth of my first son, who's now 12.
Yeah.
And after that, it's kind of, evolved over time.